Okay, in the first part of this modeling tutorial, we're going to be looking at just setting up Maya, the Maya image planes, so we have our reference inside of Maya to model to, and also just creating our basic objects, setting up the scale of the scene. I'll just bring in my reference, so this is what we're going to be working towards modeling. So I have a couple of images of this kitchen stool. This is a specific kitchen stool. I think it's called the low stool. I just noted down some initial dimensions. I just got these from a website, furniture website, and these were an inch, so just the conversion to centimeters, just to get my general height and depth. And then from that, I draw out a quick sketch, just outlining the outline basically of the stool itself. Only concentrating on one half because this can be thought of as a symmetrical object the whole way up. Okay, so it's just breaking down the key points of this that I want to be working towards in my model. You can see from, see if there's a better image, from the images themselves, the leg is actually angled on the stool, but on my sketch I've got this straight. This just makes it so much easier to model this object in terms of moving these vertices, or if you were modeling a different way. Easier to do it this way and then rotate it into place, and then we can always deal with the bottom of this afterwards once we get it rotated in the right direction. Okay, so that's the reason that this is drawn like this and not at an angle. I guess you could draw it at an angle and you could do it that way. I'm just showing you this way just to make it a bit easier for people to approach modeling for the first time. So that said, let's get on. So in Maya, I'm going to first make sure I've got the right workspace. So under File, Set Project, because I know I already have a project folder set up. And here we have, yep, you can see this is the default project here. So what I need to do, just go to, in this case, my computer. I go to the hard drive. And choose this folder here. Set. So anything I load up now is going to reference that folder, that file path, and anything within those folders. So let's go ahead and switch into our 4-panel layout. Remember, I'm just using the Alt middle button to pan, move around, middle right button to zoom in and out, and in this view, Alt and left button to rotate. And the orthographic views, the side, the front and the top, won't allow you to do a tumble. Only this perspective view and camera views allow that. So in these two views I want to create the reference. So I'm going to go in first of all in this menu and go to my View, Image Plane, Import Image. Should go to my folder. Reference. I'm going to go into my template and open. There we go. I'm going to do the same in the side view. Just go to View, Image Plane, Import Image, and go to same. You can actually load different images on. If you've got a character or a car, you may want to load the front view into the front, the side view into the side, and even a top view into the top. And you can see that these do show up in the perspective window as well. These can be moved around, so for example I probably do want to move these up, but if you want one of these to be over on the side, Again, if you're doing something like character vehicle modeling, it can have to be useful. So I'm going to open up the outliner. It's going to go into one of these, and we've got both of these here: image plane 1, image plane 2. From here, we can go into our image plane 1, and we have all our transform attributes in here. So we're looking at the translate X, Y, and Z. In our case, we're going to be looking at the translate Y. So we're going in a positive direction here. If we just look at our little gizmo, a little identifier, Y up in the positive. Thinking that each of these is a centimetre. These are the units that Mary's working in. Maybe about 5 centimetres. Oh, a bit more. Maybe about 6.5. Further. Let's try 8. I'm trying to get the bottom of the stool just roughly on there. 8.5 gone too far. 8.2. 8. Okay, about 8.15. I can do the same with this one. Let's go about image plane 2. 8.15. Okay. But we could move this anywhere, of course. Grab this. Let's just say we'll move this 10. Yep, can move this anywhere we want to move this. Just undo that. I'm going to name this as well, so I'm going to call this IP, image plane. I'm going to call this what it is. Table side 01. Copy that name, click on this one. Let's highlight this and let's call this table front. It's just worth noting that this is actually drawn at about 1/4 scale, so we could either scale these up, times 4, or we could just model this and then we can scale the model up just to make it real world scale. So this is a 1/4 scale of the actual thing, hence it working about 8 centimeters, which is nowhere near the height of the table. Okay. So set that up. Now the last one I'm going to do in the setup is, well, we don't really want these selected at the minute. When we're modeling, we don't want to be constantly selecting and deselecting these things. So what I'm going to do is a couple of ways around this, but I'm going to do use layers. So I'm just going to actually open up my outline again, make sure I have these two selected. I'm going to go into my channel box and layer editor. You can use Control A, remember, to toggle between those. I'm going to go right down to the bottom, and here we have our layers panel. So if I just, if you see right now, we've got no layers there at all. Everything's on a basic default layer, my basic scene. Going to layers, I can do a create layer from selected. So I have these two selected over here. Okay, and that's created a layer. If I just double click on this, let's call this templates, and we can give it a color. I'll give it something nice and bright. So with this now we can hide our templates, and we can also lock our templates as well. There's two modes in this, but it doesn't really show up on these image planes. It shows up more on a model. So we have reference, reference and template mode. Okay, so T for template, R for reference. One will make it a wireframe, one will make it solid with an X-ray on. if you have bones or something underneath that. So that makes it quite useful as well, making layers for bones, making layers for different parts of the character. So now within template mode or referencing the image planes, we can't physically select these. Okay, we can still select them here if we need to check the properties for anything, but on screen we can't select those. So the final thing I'm going to do is just go in and save my scene. So I'll save scene as. This is going to my project folder under my scenes. I'm just going to call this a my.ascii file, not my binary. And let's call this workshop underscore template underscore 01. Just click on continue. And there we have it. Our template's in there ready to go. And this is the end of this setup session.